Hello fellow YouTubers, my name is Dre and welcome to my channel. Today we're going to be talking about that little map on the corner of your screen that is soon to be gone. Before we get started, I'd like to say thank you for joining in and watching this video. I've recently started doing these video game topics and random subjects about gaming. I really enjoy sharing my point of view and listening to others and see where we meet, what we don't agree on, and just overall having a nice conversation, and again, most importantly, just sharing my point of view on these very random gaming topics. So if you like gaming related conversations, please feel free to subscribe. I love hearing different feedbacks, like whether you agree with me or disagree with me, go ahead and comment below, I'm not saying I'm right, I'm just saying this is my point of view, but I want to hear your point of view as well. So if you agree with me, hey man, be like, hey, I really like this subject, you're right, I also agree with you. And if you don't, be like, hey Dre, I don't think you're right, this is my point of view. On your eyes, I could be completely wrong, and that's completely understandable, man. It's my point of view, but I want to hear yours as well. But okay, anyhow, enough of the intro. Everyone needs an intro. It's like the thing now. You need an intro, and yeah. Anyhow, let's go ahead and get started with the subject. And as I said at the beginning of the video, before I try to get a few people to subscribe, today we are talking about those mini-maps. I'm sure many of you grew up with a mini-map, including myself. I mean, they've been like a standard in games for like the past 15, 17 years or so. And yes, the focus is going to be on big open world games, okay? I know some indie games still do have mini-maps and a lot of them don't, but we're going to use a little bit of common sense and talking about the big maps, okay? Now, I'm not here to bash on the mini-map by any means. I've used the mini-map plenty of times. I know there's a lot of games that give you the option whether you want the map or not. I always have the map on. I mean, come on, what kind of person doesn't have the mini-map on? You need it. Unless you play this game for hundreds of hours or whatever time you need, let's say 50 hours, to memorize where everything is or kind of know your way around, you're gonna need some kind of directions, some kind of way to let you know what's going on in the world. I did read somewhere though that it was GTA 3 that made it popular to have the little circle map on the corner of the screen. And from then on forward, that was kind of like the standard of this is where the map goes and this is how it's gonna look, roughly. And it used to be the really good way of using a GPS for these games. For the most part, it was just the street. This is where you're driving, and here's some, general ideas of where the mission is that you need to go to. They have like the letter G or S or for whatever the story that you're going to started with. So you would head towards that letter, and like I said, it was basically a GPS in the game that will let you know where to go. And this has been a tool that has helped so many gamers. It's part of the game. You expect it to be in a lot of the games, especially Rockstar games. They love mini-maps, and they're really good at them. Like I said, I'm not bashing on the mini-map itself. I'm saying they're great. Rockstar loves mini-maps. They do a great job with them. So what's the problem, Dre, you might ask? You said they're dying, or I think that's what I'm going to put on my thumbnail. Anyways, there's two main problems that I see with the minimap coming up, and in the most recent years, a lot of people have started to notice this switch that's probably going to happen within a few years or within a few games, especially within the Rockstar games, as they're so far apart for the most part. The first one I'm going to address is not much of a Rockstar problem as it was a problem for Ubisoft. And that problem was where instead of just using their minimap for mainly a GPS, they used it to display every single thing that was around. And in a game like Assassin's Creed 2, where there is so much stuff going on in a single city in a small space, it's just clutter everywhere. Like you can use a minimap, but there is just so much stuff going around there. It kind of becomes like a mini game instead of a mini map. I will say Rockstar does tend to be more neater about their maps. They do use it, for the most part, for a GPS kind of use. Okay, so now I'm going to go over the main reason why I think that the minimap is not going to be sticking around much longer. And it's a problem that as games become prettier and more immersive and more real, you start noticing the problem of the minimap. And it is that it's too distracting. We are now at the point of 4K gaming. We have beautiful, and I cannot emphasize this enough, beautiful games, beautiful open worlds. They look, they have this look that a lot of us back when we were playing, San Andreas or Vice City, did not think that the games were going to get to the point where they are now. Like, trees have leaves now. I know it's whatever, but trees have leaves. You can see the flames that are coming out of a fire, out of a burning car or whatever. You can see the detail that they're putting into these games. Like, come on, you guys remember when Red Dead Redemption 2 was announced, that people would not stop talking about how the horse's testicles would shrink in cold water. We are at that point of detail, my friends. And yet, what are we doing for a good portion of the game? We are staring at that minimap, especially when traveling. I've noticed that from myself, that when I'm traveling, whether in Red Dead Redemption 2 on a horse or on a car on GTA, you will focus on that minimap, to guide you. And we are missing out on the beautiful worlds that people are developing. And I know some people are going to say, you're only supposed to use it as a reference here and there. I focus more on the game. I can find my way around. And hey, if that's you, props to you. I personally look at that minimap way more than I should, or than I want to. And I'm sure there's others like myself that, if pointed out to you, you're going to start noticing how much you look into that minimap. And you have this big, beautiful open world that's what you should be looking at, not that little tiny, map at the bottom of your screen. I think it can be described as a dreadful convenience, because you want it there. But again, when pointed out that you're missing out on this beautiful world that they put so much freaking details into, it's a dreadful convenience. We all know that the next generation of gaming, it's going to be 4K standard. That's just the way that PS5 and the new Xbox are going to go for. It's, common sense. And with all that power, with how beautiful they're going to be able to make the games even more, I don't think they want you to focus on that minimap anymore. Now, I know Ubisoft probably wasn't the first one that did this or the only one that's doing this right now, but I'm going to focus on these specific games because I personally have played them for a very long time and, can give my honest opinion on how I felt that it changed up the game. And that would be that beautiful compass on top of the screen. I think the earliest I saw them doing it was in Far Cry 5. I could be wrong. There could be a game before that, but that's where I noticed that gone with a minimap and here's a compass. And yes, by the compass, I do mean like the whole setup itself, where it still tells you where things are, but without taking that corner of your screen. It could just be me how I feel about this, since I am a freaking Ubisoft fanboy or whatever. Yeah, I am. But I think it works great. I think it keeps you from being so distracted on the minimap that you just literally use it for reference. You just look at it for a second, if that, but it gives you a general idea of where to go without being distracted, at all compared to the minimap in other games. It also gives you a sense of immersion more than having to look at the corner of your screen to know where to go. I'm not saying that the other games are less immersive. I'm just saying that it's easier to immerse yourself into these games without having the distraction of the minimap. I just think that the compass on top is a better tool or a better format to displaying what you need to display as far as directions, where to go, and where things are located. And just to clarify, I am not saying that a game with a minimap in the corner of the screen is any less good than the new ones that are coming out with the compass on top. But what do you guys think? Do you think Rockstar and other games are going to get away with their minimap and put in the compass and embrace this new change? Or do you think Rockstar, as big as they are, just going to stick with their minimap and say, hey, this is how our games are. They've worked so far. We're not going to change it. I think they're going to change it. Come on, I just spent 9 minutes telling you why I think they're going to change it, but it could be wrong. So Let me know your opinion. What do you think? Do you think it's distracting enough for them to want to change it? What do you think they're just gonna, just keep the minimap the way it is? I would like to take a second and thank my friend DarkRob21 for providing me with some of the video for Spider-Man that I used for this video. Thank you very much, buddy. You rock. Make sure to check out his channel. The link is below. As always, thank you guys so much for tuning in and watching this video, especially you guys that made it all the way to the end. You guys are the MVPs. My name is Dre. Have a great rest of your day, afternoon, evening, midnight, whatever. Just make sure it's great.